What is up, guys? So for this video I wanted to discuss and analyze the likelihood of there being another black and white flash forward opening scene in the first episode of season 4 of Better Call Saul. So, as we know from watching Better Call Saul, each of the first 3 seasons has started the very first episode of each season with a black and white flash forward. These flash forwards have featured Saul Goodman, aka Jimmy McGill, living his life in Omaha, Nebraska, now under the alias Gene. The question is, why have the writers decided to start every season of Better Call Saul with a black and white flash forward? These 3 flash forwards have obviously given the audience an insight into the life of Gene in Omaha, but these flash forwards also leave us with many questions going into season 4 of Better Call Saul. The black and white color hue on screen is meant to signify that these scenes are without a doubt taking place in the future. The alteration of these scenes' color hue has been done before in Breaking Bad with a yellow color hue meant to signify a flashback in Mexico. For example, we see this in season 4 of Breaking Bad during the episode entitled Hermanos. In addition to the black and white flash forwards we saw in Better Call Saul, we also saw the utilization of a blue color hue meant to signify a flashback in Better Call Saul. For example, we see this in season 1 of Better Call Saul in the episode entitled 5-0. I, like many other fans of Breaking Bad, was really surprised and excited to see the very first black and white opening scene in season 1 of Better Call Saul in the episode entitled Uno. I was really glad to see that the writers decided to adhere to the dialogue of Breaking Bad, where Saul mentions to Walt what his best case scenario in life is after he disappears to Nebraska.
If I'm lucky, a month from now, best case scenario, I'm managing a Cinnabon in Omaha.
The flash forward opening scene in season 1 of Better Call Saul gave us a brief look into Saul's new life in Omaha. The overall theme of this opening scene in season 1 depicted the fact that Saul is living a boring and monotonous life and is in constant fear of being discovered as Saul Goodman, with his only outlet of solace being re-watching his old Saul Goodman commercials. Additionally, the decision to have the opening scene shot in black and white appears to be a metaphor for the fact that all of the color has been sucked out of Saul's life. This is compared to the colorful and vivacious life he once lived as Saul Goodman. We see this displayed when the color from the old Saul Goodman commercials he's playing on his television is reflected onto his glasses at the conclusion of the opening scene. Season 2 of Better Call Saul decided to follow this motif as well and started the first episode of the season with a black and white flash forward in the episode entitled Switch. This scene also highlighted Saul's new life in Omaha by visually reiterating that Saul lives a dull and tedious life where he's constantly having to live with the fear of the police discovering that he is Saul Goodman, who is wanted in connection to his association with Walter White. This is epitomized in the opening scene where Saul waits in a garbage room instead of opening the emergency exit, which he fears would notify the police. Season 3 opened again in the same fashion with the black and white flash forwards, with the same themes being displayed of Saul's boring life as well as the fear of being discovered by the police. However, unlike the previous 2 seasons, in season 3 of Better Call Saul in the episode entitled Mabel, during his lunch break after witnessing a police officer arresting a young man for shoplifting, Saul breaks from his despairingly dejected personality as Gene and stands up and firmly shouts to the young man to get a lawyer. Gene standing up and shouting to this young man to get a lawyer definitely resembles the bold and brazen personality of Saul Goodman. The scene then ends with Jimmy going back to work at the Cinnabon where he collapses onto the floor. Gene collapsing on the floor is one of the many cliffhangers going into season 4 of Better Call Saul. Based on the first 3 seasons of Better Call Saul, I would definitely expect the writers to follow this theme in season 4, and I would expect the first episode to start out with a black and white flash forward as well. So that brings me back to the question of what has the purpose been of the writers showing these 3 scenes to start out every season of Better Call Saul so far. In my opinion, this goes back to the Chekhov's gun dramatic principle, which we've seen before in Breaking Bad. The fact that we've seen ever-increasing glimpses into Gene's new life in Omaha means that there needs to be some meaning to these scenes in the name of good storytelling. In my opinion, every component of the Better Call Saul story, especially components that stand out and contrast with the rest of the show as much as these black and white opening scenes do, needs to be essential to the story as a whole. I truly feel that the writers of Better Call Saul are too scrupulous and too erudite to have these flash forward scenes not be essential to the main plot. Moving forward in season 4 of Better Call Saul, I'm wondering if we could possibly have more than just one black and white flash forward during the very first episode of season 4. I think it could be possible that we have an entire episode shot in black and white with Gene living in Omaha. While this will be really interesting to see, I think it could possibly be very difficult to write in the sense that Gene lives a very solitary life in Omaha and almost all of the characters he associated with in Breaking Bad have perished. The only people who survived at the conclusion of Breaking Bad who associated with Saul Goodman in a great capacity were Jesse Pinkman, Hugh Babineau, and Patrick Kuby. This is a stretch, but hypothetically, I think we could see these characters potentially interact in a flash-forward episode, but at the same time, I think that is probably unlikely because these characters would probably want nothing to do with each other after their respective last encounters and would seemingly have a difficult and near impossible time locating each other based on their respective circumstances. But nonetheless, I still think it would be really interesting to see if the writers decided to pursue a plot like this moving forward in Season 4 of Better Call Saul. Also, in my opinion, in the event that Kim survives to see the end of Better Call Saul, I think hypothetically Gene could potentially want to seek her out and potentially try to contact her if she is still alive. In this circumstance, Kim would be one of, if not the only person who was once a great part of Saul's life who would still be alive when he's living as Gene in Omaha. Additionally, I would even believe that it could be possible that we hypothetically see another spin-off of Better Call Saul that would feature Gene living his life in Omaha as a sequel to Better Call Saul. This, of course, would be dependent on a number of factors, including the desire of the writers, actors, producers, and the network all wanting to undertake this project. But with all this being said, there's still a lot of story left to tell in many years in the timeline between the end of Season 3 of Better Call Saul and the 3 flash-forward scenes, so I'm really eager to see how these various plots actually materialize moving forward in Season 4 of Better Call Saul. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, make sure to check out the other Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad videos on my channel. My name is Anton Jackson. Thanks again for watching.